What's up? This is Jake with Hike 734, hiking with my wife Kristen to Amphitheater and Surprise Lakes, as well as a side trip up Garnet Canyon in the Grand Teton National Park. And we started off over in the Lupine Meadows trailhead and just started working our way through a really pleasant forest. It was just nice to hang out in a forest you can look into. It's definitely an older forest, and anyways, just really nice. And crossed over a really pretty stream, and then for the most part it was level through that section, and then it turns up on this ridge, and you get little tiny cool views of some of these just amazing summits in the Grand Tetons. And yeah, so we just started following up just right along this ridge line, and it was, as you get higher up, it gets more where it drops off on either side. But you're in the woods and you just have little pocket views here and there. And then as you get higher up, you start to switch back a little, and there's a junction over for Bradley and Taggart Lakes, which you get to see as you're climbing. And what happened was, we had heard that there was a bear up ahead, and usually when I hear that I don't see him, but this time we saw a sow with 2 cubs, so that was fun, and also always a little unnerving when they've got their babies with them. But anyways, from there we went ahead and just started going up through some of the switchbacks. There's like 4 or 5 of them, and as we were going up through there, it was just really cool because it kind of bounced between like forested hillside to just like an open meadow hillside, and then back into the forest. So it just kind of alternated, really, like it just kind of kept things interesting, and there's just really cool granite formations, and the other thing was, you just get really cool views of the Jackson Hole area just looking out. And also, as we worked our way up, you could see Bradley and Taggart Lakes below, and the higher up you went, the cooler that view got. And anyways, finally we got up to the Garnet Canyon Junction, and what we ended up doing was we just went up to the lakes first, and so we started working our way up towards Surprise Lake first. And this is just a really cool area, and as you're gaining elevation, you're kind of seeing the forest change to more, white bark pines and huckleberries and those types of plants. And yeah, it just, once again, the views continued just to get more broad, and it was just great. And then we started getting into some really big rock formations, and this area just it feels like a million switchbacks. And for you flatlanders, this elevation is, because it's high already, it'll definitely be something that you want to pace yourself as you're climbing it. But anyways, after a bunch of switchbacks, we finally kind of entered into the canyon where the trail started to level off, and we popped out over at Surprise Lake, which is just really just a small, beautiful lake, just kind of tucked below the mountains. And yeah, we sat there for a little bit and kind of skirted around the lake as well. There's a nice trail that follows along the shoreline, and we went over and got a different view of some of the surrounding mountains. And then also there's this little tiny view you can get of Garnet Canyon, which is what we were going to be going into in a little bit. So we did that and got a little view over there, and then went back around to the lake and started to climb up the 0.2 of a mile up to Amphitheater Lake. And Amphitheater Lake is just a really pretty lake, and it's definitely where everybody stops and has lunch. And it's a pretty busy lake, especially for how much elevation gain. It's like 3,000 feet elevation gain, so people are willing to struggle for this one. But anyways, yeah, really cool. And we just kind of walked around to the other end of the lake, and when we walked around to the other end of the lake, we had lunch there, and then there was a little climber's trail, and we took that climber's trail up just to this cool little saddle that allows us to look up over into just another canyon. You get a really cool look at Grand Teton Peak there. That's just a really cool side route you can take if you want to. And then we turned around and we worked our way back down to the junction with the Garnet Canyon Trail. And that trail starts out climbing just a little bit, and then it kind of levels out and it wraps around and just gives you a really cool look once again at Bradley and Taggart Lakes, and then just the Jackson Hole area. It's just really big and broad, and just awesome views of that. And then you wrap around and turn up the canyon, and it stays pretty level for a while, and you get a really cool view of Nez Perce Peak, and yeah, just tons of granite in there. And there's a really cool creek that runs through there, and it just makes for really it's really loud in a great way. And yeah, you're just working through this huge boulder fields. And we had heard a few pikas up at Amphitheater Lake, and then we heard a ton more up here, and we finally got to see a couple. So that was really cool because I'm a huge fan of pikas. And anyways, but then the trail starts to climb, and then there's just a couple of switchbacks, and you know, you get a really great view of Middle Teton towards the head of the valley. And this is actually this trail serves as a primary climbing spot for people going up to climb to these mountains. And but the trail ends at a really cool little cascade, and then we just sat there for a little bit, got a little bit more water, and then relaxed and enjoyed the view, and then turned around, and now we're heading on back down to our vehicles. So anyways, really cool day, lots of cool stuff to see. And this is Jake hiking with Kristen to Amphitheater and Surprise Lakes and Garnet Canyon in Grand Teton National Park. If you like this video, make sure you subscribe on YouTube and head on over to hike734.com for more goodness.